Hello again, and welcome to the Proactive Foster Parent. Today's video is about making the list. When you go through foster care, I had 8 classes that I had to complete to become a foster parent with OmniVisions here in Nashville. And during those classes, they talk about the different traumas that the children have and how to deal with those traumas. So, being a foster parent for over 10 years, I've had to deal with several different types of trauma. And then I find out there are some traumas I can and cannot work with that don't work well at my home. So, I'm a working parent, I work every day. So, my children that come to my home need to be high functioning. So, high functioning to me is be able to feed yourself, bathe yourself, and clothe yourself. Those are what I mean by high functioning. You can't get rid of the traumas. But the way I move, I need you to be able to wake up, do your hygiene, and those types of things. And so that's high functioning for me. But other traumas that have come into my home, I was not able to deal with. So they'll call you with the type of child that you say that you will take in your home. Meaning, we started with boys because we had 2 sons at home and we wanted to have children around their age. We thought that would be better. Plus, they were sharing rooms. And so we found out that we're not good with boys, meaning boys have some aggressions, and I was home by myself a lot of the times, and my husband wasn't there. And when boys get upset and they don't know how to talk through their emotions, they can become destructive. And so since my husband wasn't there most of the time, so what we did was, once the last son graduated high school, we switched over to girls. And I mainly do the girls because I'm home with them most of the time with the hours and all that kind of thing. So that's why I mean by something on your list. And then the age, younger children, of course, they're more hands-on, they need more attention. And so now we do teenage girls because they don't have to have a babysitter. They can work outside the home. They can pretty much entertain themselves. And that have seemed to work better in our home. So that part of your list would be the gender of the child and whether or not the age. And so then the next part of your list will be the traumas that you can deal with. So I had one trauma where the child would wet herself. But she was an older child. She was 16 years old. And they said that she would go to the restroom and wear her pull-up at night. Well, she didn't do any of those things. She would literally be walking around and she would pee on herself. And we had wood floors, and there were black spots on the wood floors where she would just drop pee and it was turning black. And then she wouldn't wear the pull-up at night. Even though we had a mattress protector, she would rip it and pee through the plastic when she got mad or angry or frustrated. So it was a whole lot. So now on my list, I have no bedwetters. So if the child wets the bed, I can't do it. We had to throw away that mattress when she left. And of course, when she got angry, she would just pee everywhere as a get back. So no bedwetters for us. No bedwetters for us. And so that's the types of things I mean by have your list. Another thing I won't have is the children get to pick the home as well as you. So I like to go to church. And we go to church on Wednesdays and Sundays. And so when they call you with a child, you can tell them to ask the child, how do you feel about So we go to church Wednesdays and Sundays. And so I need them to be good citizens and behave and all of that. So will they be able to sit through a service? And so I let them know, ask the child, how do they feel about going to church 2 times a week? Because if they're going to be disruptive and all of that, they can't be at my home. I just need you to be a good citizen. You don't have to participate. And even with that, you cannot, by law, they will not, they call it indoctrinate the children with your religion or whatever. So they can go to the church with you, but you can't make them participate. You can't make them pray. You can't make them sing or anything like that. So my requirement is if they just be good citizens. And so I just tell my children, if they behave during the service, after service, we'll go out to eat. So they love going out to eat every Sunday. And I like going out to eat every Sunday. But so that's how I get them to sit still and go through the service without being disruptive, okay? But the children can also say that they don't want to be in your home as well as you. But once you accept a child, you don't want to give the child back. So this is why you need to create the list so you can see what works well in your home. Another thing that I will not have in my home, I do all teenage girls now, are homosexual children. And the reason why I don't do homosexual children is because you have to affirm that lifestyle. If they want to be called something else other than what they were born as, you have to affirm that. And so since that's not part of my belief, love the children. If you look like a girl to me, that's just me. I'm going to call you what's on the paper. So if they want to be called something else, you have to participate in that, as well as cultivate that lifestyle if that's what they choose to be. Also, since my girls room together, I don't think it would be wise to put a heterosexual and a homosexual child in the same room, since of course they like each other like that. And then there's an opportunity for your home to be shut down if the children engage in any sexual activity. And so since I go to sleep at night, I can't watch them like that. So I just love the children, however they want to be. But that protects me, and that also protects the other children in the home if the children line up the same or whatever. So that's another thing on my list. And of course, they have medically fragile children where they're hooked up to machines and all those types of things. They have those types of children. And so that kind of situation, you would have to kind of be like one of the parents. One parent in the home with the agency, one parent in the home has to work, okay? And your bills and your job has to cover your bills. So you can't get into foster care because you want the stipend that they give you to pay your bills, okay? So if you take a medically fragile child in your home, it's going to be hard for both parents to work outside the home, depending on how much the medically fragile child needs help. If they have them where some are hooked up to machines, or they have a decatheter, whatever the issues are. So you have to ask those questions when they call you. Have your list of things that you think you can't have in your home. I also ask if they all have to be potty trained. Nobody can be in diapers. I mean, of course, if they're small children, of course. But children that I get are 12 and older. So the 12 and older children, I can't have them in diapers. They can't, do they smear doo-doo? Some children will play, you'll learn about the traumas. They'll play in feces. They'll smear the feces, that kind of thing. So you need to ask those questions. So how do you make this list? Well, of course, after you go through your foster care training classes and they introduce you to the types of traumas that these children have, that's the time to write down and be honest on what you think you can deal with. Right now, you don't know if you've not a foster parent, you don't know. But when you go through the classes and you go through the traumas, have your list. And so what will happen is they'll call you once you become a foster parent, and they'll say, I have this child, and ask what the traumas are and ask what the issues, even if aggression, will this child fight adults, those types of things. And then you can ask them to send over the packet so you can go through it and look through it. And then you can also ask, if you're still on the fence, you can do what they call respite, which is babysitting, and say, hey, I can do respite. Let me do respite for a weekend and let's see how well it goes. And then you can decide from there if you want to take that child or not. Because the goal is, once you accept a child into your home, you do not want to have to give them back. You are going to have challenges. I still have challenges with the children I have. So the challenges, you may get cussed out. You may have attitude problems. They don't want to clean up. They don't want to take a bath. There are going to be other things, but those are manageable for me. I don't mind being cussed out and rolling in the floor and all that kind of stuff. I can deal with that. So you decide how much drama you can take, because these children were not raised by you and they're different. Okay, they're not like the children that you birthed and raised in your home. They're not used to structure and all that good stuff. They're not used to having a meat and 2 vegetables and eating right and eating healthy and all that good stuff. So don't put that on your paper. But like I said, once you go through your trauma classes and you see the different traumas that these children are coming in with, another thing, if it's a sex trafficked child, I'll take a sex trafficked child, but since it is a child that's used to sexual activity and with older men and those types of things, when they're in the car with my husband, if he's by himself, we put those girls in the back seat. And no one sits on the front seat with him. Everybody sits on the back seat. And then if he thinks he may need to have his phone on record, just for his safety, so that nothing is said, because children will make false allegations against you. And this is why we have cameras in our home. It's not so much to protect the kids, other than it is to protect us. We have a camera in the hallway. This is for children that may be sexually or girls that may make the false allegations. You never know when they're going to make a false allegation. So we have a camera in the hallway. So when we talk to the girls, we stand in the hallway and talk through the door, because the camera is audio and video. So if a child says, oh, he came in my room at night and he tried to touch me, well, we have a camera. We want to know, and it'll show we never go in the room when the child is in the room. And then when we do go in the rooms, we make sure the children are not home, because I do room searches, and you should do a room search. But I do it when they're not home, so there's no confrontation. Because these children can want to fight and be aggressive and all that good stuff. So I do the room searches when they're not home. And so that way, if I find anything, I'll take it from there. And there's no fight. There's no fight. There's no pushing, all that cussing out and all that extra stuff. They just come home and stuff is just gone. And there's no fight. It's just gone. But anyway, so I hope that helps you. Make your list. Have that by the phone. I don't have to have my list written anymore. I kind of got mine in my head now. But when you first start out, have your list on what you think you cannot do at your home. So when they call, because we do not want to give the children back. So I hope this helped you. Thank you for joining me again on The Proactive Foster Parent. Until next time, like and subscribe.